So you know those real estate reels and TikToks where it's like one really cool shot and then it kind of teleports to the next cool shot and keeps going through the whole house tour? If you don't know much about video editing, it's kind of mind-blowing and makes you wonder just like, how are people making these things? It seems impossible. So I wanted to share a little secret with you guys. It's all in the edit and it's not that hard. So I went ahead and shot one of those videos just using my phone, and today we're gonna get into how to edit a one-take real estate video with the same phone that I shot it with. So thanks for joining. Now let's get into it. All right, so step one, you need to get this app called VN Video Editing App. You can use Adobe Rush, which is really good, but it's not free. It's $10 a month. So I wanted to show this free app because anybody could use it. You can use it on iOS or Android. So I thought that'd be more helpful. All right, so the next step, obviously you need to have already shot the footage. So basically, quick overview of how to do this is find your angles that you're gonna do, find your camera movements you're gonna do ahead of time, and then go through them chronologically in the way that you want your final edit to be. So for this one, we started at the front exterior, then we worked our way through the interiors, hitting the most important areas first, and then hit the bedrooms, and then we kind of worked our way through the rest of the house, and then found an endpoint. And I think on this, I panned up into the ceiling, planning to have like graphics come up or something like that, like the address or broker information if it's for real estate, or just it's strategic to have a little ending. So just a quick warning, it did take me like 3 tries to get this take, so don't expect to get this done perfectly on your first try, especially if you've never done this type of thing before. Don't worry about it, just take your time and you'll figure it out. So the biggest tip I have is try to keep your in-between movements as smooth as possible. Try to be intentional about keeping the camera locked onto something so that whenever you speed these up, it's not like a fast panning left and right, it's just like a kind of locked in thing into your next composition. That's not always going to be possible, but just try to do that as much as you can. So now that we've got our footage into the program, we're going to need to cut our end points. So the start and the finish of the video, there's always a little bit of extra excess on both ends, so we're going to clean that up real quick. Okay, so all you have to do is click on the footage, click the little import button, and then we're gonna scroll left or right to the start and the end of the footage. Click the split button, which cuts it, and then we're gonna click the extra piece and then click delete once it's highlighted, and that just cleans it up to where we just have what we need. So next up, we're gonna add what is called speed ramps. So basically, it's called a ramp because of the shape of the speed changing. So it just like smoothly goes from slow to fast and then back down to slow and just has kind of a gradual fade away. So basically all we're gonna do is go in and find the small camera movement areas that we wanna keep and then create speed ramps to connect them to the next one. And then we're gonna ramp it back up to being fast in between and so on and so forth until we're done with the video. Okay, so when you select your clip, all you need to do to add a speed ramp is click your clip, then click speed, icon on the bottom, and this little menu comes up. So doing speed ramps on this app is super simple. All you do is you just change these keyframes up or down, and that's gonna slow it down or speed it up. So depending on what you wanna do, you just drag it around until it's about how you want it. So it's really cool how they set this up. The only problem I have with it is that for a one-take video, it's basically gonna be impossible to edit it on your phone just because you would need to put so many keyframes, and this is all the space that you have, so compared to like a computer screen. So my workaround for that is to go in and just use a split tool and go through and cut the clip into different segments based on where I think my movements are gonna be, and kind of just one shot per room, normal type of stuff. So that's going to make it a lot more manageable with editing, especially on a phone. Okay, so now that we've got all these cut up, we're just going to go through on every single clip and speed up the parts that are not important, the transition parts, and then slow down the parts a little bit where it is the focal point, the main camera movement and composition of the shot. So every project, every clip is going to be different, but that pretty much sums it up. We're just going to slow down the main important parts and speed up the in-between parts as much as possible. And we're just going to work our way through every single clip until we get to the end of the house. And then we're going to work on the music, and I think we might end up cutting some of the stuff out just because there's a little bit too much extra space in between. And since we're planning on keeping this video really short, you don't want to waste like 2 or 3 seconds just speeding through a house. Like, you might as well just do a clean cut and then start a new fresh clip from there, which I think kind of actually emphasizes the one take speed ramp stuff even more and makes it even more interesting instead of just zooming through the whole house the exact same way the whole video. So now that we've got all the speed ramps in, we've got it cut to where we basically got all the stuff we want to keep. So the only thing left is we need to add the music and then edit it to where it fits the music a little bit better. But before we go down the rabbit hole of finding our music, which can make or break the whole vibe of any video project, it's time to thank today's video sponsor, which is Epidemic Sound, which I'm super excited about. As all of you guys who have been around for a while know, I've used their music and sound effects for pretty much every single client video and YouTube video on this channel over the past like 5 or 6 years. It's a great company, it's super affordable. They're always adding new stuff, and you can go anything from super cinematic music, really slow stuff, all the way to like just pop radio type songs that are actually like really good. If you don't have a membership yet, you need to sign up. There is a link down below the video for a free 30-day trial. And bonus, if you have your own business and you're making stuff for clients, you definitely want to look at their commercial plan, and you're gonna want to look at paying for it annually, because if you're paying monthly, it's already a really great affordable price for what you're getting. But if you pay annually, it's less than half. All right, so back to the video. So for this one, we want something a little bit quirky, a little bit kind of vibey to match the house, because it's pretty unique. It's got a lot of character. Okay, so we're just pulling up the app. In the Discover tab, you see there's a ton of different options for different types of music, but I'm just gonna go into the staff picks and see if we can find something really easily. So you can just scroll through this on their mobile app. I just usually skim through to where it looks like it's a more dynamic part and kind of see what to expect for the rest of the song. And usually whenever I find something that I think is gonna work, it kind of stands out to me. So I really liked this one. So I'll just listen to it for a second and see if it's going to be a good fit or not. So I'm going to go ahead and save this one. So just save this onto your phone in a folder, and we should be able to just import that into the editing app really easily. So now we need to cut down our music to where it matches our edit length. So anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. Depending on how big the space is, I would probably recommend going as short as possible and as to the point as possible, because we're making these things for social media. People don't have big attention spans. All right, so we dropped that into the music layer in our video editing app. And now we're gonna change it a little bit to where it's gonna fit our length. And instead of trying to do music production and chop up the edit like I normally would, I think that's kind of gonna be too hard on a phone. So I'm just changing the length, and I'm trimming off some of that intro ambient stuff to where it gets into the beat a lot quicker, and then I'm changing it to where it's going to fade out at the end instead of having like a perfect hard transition like I normally would. So now that we've got that trimmed down, we're gonna need to adjust all of our speed ramping stuff to where it fits the music better. So whether that's dynamics or transitioning on beats, basically it's just gonna make this whole video feel produced, feel right when people are watching it. Usually I'll just try to get it to slow down where some slower part of the song hits, or like the beat changes or the chorus part hits or something like that. Really the main goal here is just to kind of line up the visuals with the audio and the dynamics so that the viewer experience as a whole is seamless and seems like it's at least well produced and organized. You don't always have to have a perfect cut on the beat or anything like that, but it does change the viewer experience and makes it a little smoother and a little bit more easy to watch. If people are not thinking about how you edited it, you did a good job. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep going through here. I'm trying to trim it up and make it a little bit faster. We had a little bit too much footage, so once again, definitely shoot pretty minimally to where you're gonna be able to fit this into a 1 minute timeline or less. It's easy to overshoot. Okay, so I'm just slowing it down a little bit at the end so that that's gonna fade into black. And I think I'm gonna put some text coming up at the end as well. One easy way to make it look like it has a little more dynamic range, shows a little more detail, is to go in and change the shadows and highlights a little bit. It's gonna vary per clip depending on how much shadow or highlight there is, but I found that 37 on the shadows looks really good on my phone footage, and depending on the clip, I'll pull down the highlights a little bit, but you just wanna make sure that, especially if you have a speed ramp long clip, they match up so it's not changing your color grade in the middle of a transition or something like that and looks weird. All right, so I'm gonna add a couple titles. Just wanna show you all this is possible. Really simple. So I'm just adding this one right at the start that says welcome. All you do is click and drag, type in what you want it to say, and it's gonna do that on its own on this title layer. Okay, so I'm gonna scroll to the end and I'm going to make this fade to black. So that's all you do, just click the video clip at the end, change it to fade to black, extend that time as long as it can be, and then we're gonna add a title on the title layer that says book now. So I'm just using this template they have. And the reason I did the black fade to black is so that you can actually read the book now. Otherwise it's a little too busy. So it's just gonna fade in like that, and then we're good. Now we're just gonna export it, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it at 4K 30 FPS. Normally for videos I do 24, but I think for this one I shot it at 60 frames per second, and I didn't really slow anything down past 50%, so I think 30 should probably play back pretty well. All right, so here's how it came out. All right, that's it. A little bit different than normal. Normally I'll do editing stuff on a computer, but I know a lot of you guys use your phones for everything, so I wanted to make this one to try to help you guys out better, and hopefully that's what we did. If you're shooting with a normal mirrorless camera setup and editing on a computer, you could totally use all these exact same techniques. It's probably gonna be a little bit easier because you're not just dealing with pinching things and cutting things with your fingers on a phone, but the overall idea is the exact same. Also, keep an eye out for updates. I did shoot a short course that this is actually part of that's gonna be out sometime soon, so keep an eye out for an update on that, or I'll link it down below the video if you're watching this in the future. Basically, it's how to shoot and edit 3 different types of videos you can do for social media or on your phone for real estate stuff. So really excited about that, and I'll have that out as soon as I possibly can. And don't forget to sign up for that Epidemic Sound membership, whether you do the 30-day free trial, if you're just trying it out, just starting out, or if you have your own business, make sure to check out that commercial plan, especially the annual deal. It's literally less than half price. Like, I think it boils down to being like less than $20 a month for a commercial music subscription plan that you can use for all your video projects with all the licensing included. Like, it's really, really, really good deal. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. And I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Peace.